rise and recite the pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We actually have somebody there. Ow. I feel special.
Sorry about that. I suppose I don't have to be here.
Oh, we feel special. That's awesome.
I'm hoping I'm on the agenda. So it could be a quick discussion if not, but I think I am.
So, what did you think you were on the agenda for?
So that I'm Mike Dow. I'm the owner of North Arrow ABA, and we've got an item around an application to open a clinical center to treat kids with autism in the area.
Yes. Yeah. Okay.
So I just thought I'd say hello and sit in and answer any questions if there are any.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Perfect. We will be with you shortly.
And just so you know, I'm hearing a few of you well and a few of you not so well, just so you know.
Thank you. We'll be with you shortly.
And you should also know I spent several years on the Planning Commission in Traverse City, so I am well aware of the trials and tribulations of your position, and I appreciate your service.
So I'm going to start by issuing the oath to Dustin. If Dustin, you would please rise, I will issue your oath. That are new Planning Commission member. You want to go to the speaker up the end?
So yeah.
Okay. Can you hear me better now online?
I hear you well, whomever that is.
Thank you. Okay. I, Dustin Bremer, do solemnly swear or affirm that I will support the Constitution of the United States, the Constitution of the State of Michigan, the City Charter and Code of Ordinances of the City of Cedar Springs, and I will faithfully discharge the duties of Planning Commission member to the best of my abilities. Okay, you could please sign that one. And then Brady, you will be well. Awesome. You would like to stand? I, Braden Marvel, do solemnly swear or affirm that I will support the Constitution of the United States, the Constitution of the State of Michigan, the City Charter and Code of Ordinances of the City of Cedar Springs, and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of Planning Commission member to the best of my abilities. All right, thank you.
Oh, twisted. Sorry. That's an awesome time.
So tonight is our meeting where we reappoint a chairperson for this next year, 2026. So I will now open the floor for nominations for chairperson.
I'll make a nomination to appoint Mr. Nixon as chairperson.
Do I have a second?
That.
Do you accept Mr. Nixon? Any other nominations? Seeing none, hearing none, I will take a roll call vote for Mr. Nixon for chairperson. Mr. Bremer?
Yes.
Mr. Shargott's not here. Mr. Marvel?
Yes.
Ms. Naparowski? And Mr. Nixon. Okay. Mr. Nixon, if you could please stand, I will issue your oath. Raise your right hand, please. I, John Nixon, do solemnly swear or affirm that I will support the Constitution of the United States, the Constitution of the State of Michigan, the City Charter and Code of Ordinances of the City of Cedar Springs, and I will faithfully discharge the duties of Planning Commission chairperson to the best of my abilities. All right. Now I will open the floor for nominations for vice chair.
Nominate Braden.
I'll second that.
Give me a second, guys. I need to take notes. Okay, Brayden, do you accept?
Yes.
Okay. All right, I will do a roll call vote for Brayden for vice chair. Mr. Bremer,
Yes.
Mr. Marvel,
Yes.
Ms. Naparowski, Mr. Nixon. Okay. Brayden, I will now issue your oath for vice chair. I, Brayden Marvel, do solemnly swear or affirm that I will support the Constitution of the United States, the Constitution of the State of Michigan, the city charter and code of ordinances for the city of Cedar Springs, and that I'll faithfully discharge the duties of Planning Commission Vice Chair to the best of my abilities. Let's sign that. Gina Pennigan. Thank you. All right, perfect. Mr. Nixon, I will now hand the meeting over to you. Oh, you're welcome.
All right. So as Miss April stated, we have the meeting of Tuesday, January 6th, 2026 in session. I will call roll call and see who all is here. Let's see, we have a new person, Mr. Bremer. Here. All right. Mr. Clayton, I believe, was excused.
Well, he would not be here, so he'd be excused.
Mr. Marvel. Here. Mr. Marty, we're not too sure about. Miss Shandell. Here. And Mr. Nixon is here as well. We also have Miss Darla, our city manager, Mr. Andy Moore, our planner, and Miss April. What is it? The clerk. Thank you. I always forget that. We need a motion to approve the minutes from way back in November.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes of the regular meeting, November 11th, 2025.
We'll vote on that. We have a motion on the table to approve the minutes. All approved, say aye. Aye. All opposed? Okay, that motion passes. We need a approval of our agenda tonight.
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
That. All approved, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Okay. And we are on to public comments, but I don't think we have. We don't have anything for. Well, public comments, that's if we have.
Here and the only one there is Mike, so he's on 8A.
Yeah, something to say that's not related to.
All right, and then conflicts of interest and ex parte communication. This is if you have something to report to the board, that if there's something on the agenda and you are close to it or you have a vested interest in it, then you would report that, and sometimes you have to step out if we make a motion on it. Okay. Seeing none. Okay. So I guess we are down to 8A, which is a scheduled public hearing, and I will turn it over to Miss Darla.
So we have a property that's currently zoned I-1, and the permitted use is not permitted or on the special land use. So we would like to amend the permitted uses in the I-1 district to include medical, optical, dental, and veterinary offices and clinics as a permitted use in the I-1 zoning district. So to do that, we need a public hearing, and then after planning commission, if you approve it tonight, it goes to city council twice, and then final approval after that. The public hearing, unless you had any questions before we get started.
We want to put it under special approval uses or just regular uses,
We had it listed as by right.
right? Okay. I'm good with that.
Is there a reason that it's not under, by special land use permit?
Well, our thinking was that, you know, it's in the industrial zone and compared to everything that's permitted in the industrial zone, a medical or other clinic is a pretty low intensity land use compared to everything else. So typically with a special use, that's something that you're concerned that it might not be compatible with the other uses that are permitted in that district. So because this is relatively speaking a fairly low intensity type of land use, we didn't feel like the additional scrutiny of a special land use was appropriate. That being said, you can certainly move that to the list of special uses if you feel like, if the commission feels like that's something that would be better. But this was kind of our thought after talking about it, that it didn't probably rise to that level of intensity.
I don't see any problem personally.
Oh,
Need a motion?
You need to open the public hearing.
yeah. Okay, I will open the public hearings on the motion to recommend the approval to amend section 32-442 of the Cedar Springs zoning ordinance to allow medical, optical, dental, and veterinary offices and clinics as a permitted use in the industrial I-1 zone.
So if you wanted to offer to the gentleman on the screen.
Mike? So, Mr. Mike, this would be your time if you would like to comment.
Thank you. Just real quickly, my name is Mike Dow. I'm the owner of North Arrow ABA. We are a provider of medical treatment services for children diagnosed with autism spectrum disorder. We serve all over the state, several counties in both the lower and upper peninsula. I am in support of this, and particularly given the waiting list across Michigan, but particularly in the Grand Rapids area and Cedar Springs area. We're hopeful to help to serve the community, and we've seen a lot of instances where as a relatively new treatment, zoning has not caught up with this particular use. And so we're appreciative and hopeful that we can move quickly to serve the community. So thank you.
Okay. And there's no one else. All right, so I will close the comments on the proposed amendment. That you or Mr. Andy?
Close it at 7:14. Now it's
Okay.
discussion.
Now we can discuss it among ourselves. I didn't know if y'all had any more to add to it or.
Not really, it's a fairly simple amendment here. So, again, Mr. Dow explained it well from his perspective, and we frankly agree that this is something we have no issue with this kind of a thing being permitted in the industrial zone. So, as Ms. Felton said, this would be a recommendation to the city council. It would take them 2 meetings to approve it. The process. So your motion, if you choose to move forward with this, would be a recommendation for the city council to adopt the amendment.
Okay. Anybody need to discuss anything? All right, then I will make a motion that we send. I will make a motion that we send, that we recommend approval to amend section 32-442 of the Cedar Springs zoning ordinance to the Cedar Springs Council. All in favor?
I'll second it.
Oh, I mean, second, sorry. Brain fog. All right, we have a second. All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Okay, so be it. All right, we have no site plan reviews. And then we had a discussion on the B2 central business.
Yep, so I can take this one. So we gave you a short memo that was included in your packets, from December 30th, so, Carla and I have been, discussing there's been a few properties that we've been talking about that have had some zoning issues, and what we're seeing is that there are a bunch of properties that don't have frontage on Main Street, but nevertheless are part of that central business district zoning classification. Because your central business district does not permit, single family homes, for example, in that district at all, we have people who are looking to expand or modify their dwellings, and it's difficult because they're non-conforming properties, they're not zoned for that use. And so as we looked at that, and as we looked at the master plan that was just adopted a couple of months ago, the master plan future land use map is drawn so that there's a little more nuance along that, especially on the eastern side of that CBD district, right? So you can kind of see on the west side, it just follows Cherry Street. On the east side, it kind of follows property lines and is primarily limited to those properties that have frontage on Main Street. Stuff that's behind there, for the most part, would be most appropriate just to have in a residential district, because those are almost all single family homes with maybe like one exception. And so our thought here, you don't have to take any action on this tonight, but our thought would be to work on an amendment to the zoning map to kind of dial in that central business district zoning district a little bit better. So instead of just having a block on the east and a block on the west of Main Street, it's just kind of a big square. We would take a little more care in how we draw that line, and if there's single family homes that are likely to remain single family homes for the foreseeable future, we'd probably want to zone them to R1, which is in line with how they're actually being used and how they're likely to be used in the future. There's only a couple that might fall outside of that, which would be the little restaurant that's over there, off of, what is it, Cherry Street, I think. Yeah, Sue's Country Kitchen. And so there might be a couple little spots like that where we would leave something like that zoned but otherwise, most of these properties, they front a side street, they have homes on them right now, and so we think it makes the most sense to just zone them residential so they can not only use the property, they can sell the property. Sometimes there's non-conforming use, there can be issues with property transfers because lenders don't want to secure properties that can't be built, burned out, or something like that. It's harder to do expansions of those properties sometimes, so this makes life a lot easier for all of those people. So that's kind of why we were thinking we would kind of an amendment that would rezone, maybe a dozen or so of those properties, mostly on the east side of Maine. There might be a couple on the west side, but mixed use district, we'd have to look at that a little bit more closely as well, because there's some properties that front Second Street that are in the same position. They're zoned central business district, but they're not realistically ever going to get developed as like a 2-story mixed use retail. So I just wanted to have that conversation with you guys, to bring it up, get your feedback on it before we actually move forward with identifying these specific properties and eventually drafting an amendment.
The only concern I see with that is somebody's house is zoned commercial right now, and now we're zoning it residential. That's gonna hurt their home value, right?
They drop.
It's potentially more marketable if if it's zone commercial, but at the same time, you know, I don't know that there's been a lot of clamoring for those properties either. And so our thought is we have to balance that against the other side of that is that people can't, you know, develop their properties or redevelop their properties or expand them or add on to their house or do some of that work. But yeah, understood. I don't know that it's going to affect the property value, but certainly some people might want to be zoned commercial because they think it's more marketable. And we would specifically, I think, exclude anybody that has that high visibility on Main Street because a lot of retailers are obviously looking for, you know, trip counts along the main. I can see maybe some pushback on, like, if we did any of the ones on Muskegon, because that's a fairly well traveled road, but the other ones, you know, they don't get the traffic that like Main Street.
Right. And I'm just thinking, you zone it residential and a fire happens, property sells. How are we gonna, and we want to develop it, turn it into a parking lot or something like that? I mean, is it gonna be a case by case thing?
So if one of these houses, properties that currently contains a house, if it's rezoned back to residential, then that house catches on fire. One, I suppose they could rebuild it back the way it was and put a single family house on it, which they would probably not be able to do right now. If the city wanted to acquire it and build something on it, the city could do that because the city, whatever it wants. You don't have to follow your own zoning ordinance. Oh, that could happen. Now, if somebody else purchased it and wanted to turn it into a commercial use, then that's where you'd run into that potential problem. But if we're talking about something that the city would acquire and use for its own purposes, you'd probably be able to do that anyways.
Okay. I'm on board. I'm thinking future, 10 years, 15 years, you know. There's a lot of houses on Main Street and a block off or whatever, so that brings up, it's a good valid point.
I'd want to use on any of the ones that front on Main Street. So the long term, one of
Is-
those.
Would remain commercial.
Yeah.
A store, okay.
They're fronting Main Street.
Yeah, because those I think long term we would prefer, if possible, to see them turn into a more Main Street style.
Mhm.
But if it has frontage on First or Second, then I don't know that that's the most appropriate place for that kind of a development. We would want that on Main Street first. Side streets maybe second, then, you know, go from there. So we'd have a ways to go before we.
So I must have been reading this all wrong. What I thought you were proposing was B2 is Main Street straight through downtown, and then we have a mixed use to the west. I thought you were proposing from Main to First, putting that as another mixed use and just adding that so that way it could be residential if it needed to be, or because we had Sue's, we have Alpha and there's Rebos back there, stuff like that. And so that's why I thought, okay, so it would be mixed use where they could rebuild houses and put in businesses if they needed to.
Yeah, so I mean, I think we could possibly expand the mixed use along Second Street for a couple of those properties. But on the east side of Main Street along First Street, I'd probably go back to residential because that's what everything else to the east of that is all zoned R1. So I'd probably just make it.
And so where Sue's and Alpha is, we would just do like
Sue's would probably stay B2, honestly. I mean, it's a viable commercial business, so I don't know that I would suggest changing that one.
what I was gonna say was it could be like Rollins, like we had Rollins set along by itself over there on that side because it was I think it was mixed use, but it was the only thing over there. So that's why I said, is there something we just set them over there or just leave them alone? That's what.
I mean, so with some of those, we would probably leave alone. And I'm not necessarily proposing that we would make the zoning map mirror this future land use map that's on the right side of that picture exactly. There's going to be some slight differences there. But you know, we would go through kind of property by property and look at them and say, okay, this one's best R1, R1, R1. This one we should leave alone. Kind of come
Alright.
up with a very specific proposal. But I wanted to put this in front of you before I just gave you something and said, oh, hey, I want to do this. And that was crazy. So
Looking at each one and breaking it down versus taking the whole lot and then going, here you go, and just throwing it into one thing and then going, what did we do? So I like that.
About 20 properties, so it's not going to be a Herculean effort to figure out, you know, kind of what's the best use of that. And as we work through this, we're going to have to do a public hearing. We'll have to notify all of these people that we're looking at changing their zoning. And we might get a few people in that push back. And, you know, in those cases, we might say, okay, fine, we'll leave you it. Work through that process, you know, as it comes up. But I'm thinking some of these residents might be happy with this. They might say, I mean, there was somebody a month or two ago on Muskegon Street that wanted to make some changes. It was like, you're
House for sale,
yeah,
actually.
yeah, you were stuck and they couldn't move forward with it because of how it was zoned. And so,
Commercial?
yeah,
The one behind,
Really?
the one behind Admiral,
Hmm.
that zone,
Mm-hmm.
you can't change, oh.
so those are the things that I want to address.
That doesn't make any sense, so.
That makes sense, okay.
So some of them will be, like I said, some of those people will be happy with this. Others either will say, I was zone residential ready, or some of them might, like I said, some of them might say, no, I want to zone B2 because I want to maybe hold out hope that I can switch this over to a commercial use someday. We can kind of take those as they come and decide on that.
It's just fine.
So if I don't have anything else on this topic, if you guys are agreeable to this, we'll just proceed, and for the next meeting, we'll come with a little more detailed look at each one of these properties with some more specific recommendations.
Sounds great.
Yep.
Okay, that sounds fair to me. All right, our next business discussion on steps for. Okay. Implementate. That word of the master plan.
Implementation.
There you go. Don't look at me.
So the master plan was completed and adopted a few months ago. So that's kind of, it sounds like the end of a process, but it's really the beginning because now we actually have to do the work to implement some of what's in the plan. Darla and I have discussed this a little bit, and you know, the plan, which I think was included in your packet, there's a handful of suggestions in the plan to talk about where to start. So we can look at, so the plan talks about zoning amendments for housing, making some zoning changes related to the downtown, so such as reducing off-street parking requirements, doing more to permit housing units on upper floors, adopting design standards, things like that. Other items listed as well. So we're basically here to have an open discussion with you on things that like to see changed in the zoning ordinance, if anything. One of the other items that Darla and I have talked about would be our writing what we call an audit, or like a technical review of the zoning ordinance, where we would take a bunch of time and go through the entire thing section by section, page by page, and just write a big report that sort of points out some deficiencies, the problems, good, the bad, and the ugly. Basically, it just kind of gives you a big review of what we think of your zoning ordinance, how maybe it needs to change. And then we can use that as kind of a list to go through and either redo the whole thing or work on various sections at a time. I kind of like that approach because it gives us a sort of holistic, impression of the entire ordinance that we can share with you and write down on paper, and you'll get a fairly long, like 12, 15, 20-page document from me that sort of spells out every single thing that we see in there. But it serves as a nice roadmap to changes. I was looking at it today, and one of the areas that's sort of germane to our previous discussion that desperately needs work is the standards that you have in there related to nonconformities. There's nothing in there that addresses a lot of really common situations, and then needs a lot of work. So that's an option to do something like that. Or if there are some topics that are more kind of near and dear to your heart that you would like to see us tackle, like housing or downtown or work in the industrial district, other items, we're happy to do that as well. So again, this is just sort of an open discussion about things you would like to see, any ordinance that we can work on as we're going to implement the plan.
I think you're on the right track with what we just talked about, with looking at all the B2s, and yeah, I would say keep down that narrow path, pinpointing properties, and yeah.
Say that's fine, but I can be honest with you. If you write a 15-page thing about all the ordinances, it's gonna go over my head. I'm not gonna read it all. So what I would suggest is if you pick one or two, and then we looked over those, and then we could pick another two, because having too much at one time is a lot for me, and it's just gonna go. And so if we did one or two, like, because we've done this every year, we did signage, and then we did, lighting, and we've done all this, and, and that's fine. We can keep going with one or two, but I don't want to have the whole thing thrown at me. I'll be honest. I don't.
I'd also say just don't reinvent the wheel either. If we don't have any problems with anything, then yeah.
Your ordinance, it's not a bad ordinance at all. I've seen really bad zoning ordinances, and yours is not one of them. However, like all of them, almost, except for the ones that I wrote like last week, they all need some work probably. And there's some things in here that are probably 40 years old that are just antiquated and don't need to be in there anymore. But yeah, I think me and Darnell and I can maybe sit down. I have some ideas for things that I think would be helpful. We can certainly start with looking at downtown, not only these properties, but we've looked at downtown parking, I think once before, but we can, I want to do signage again, but more detailed look at parking and land uses. And
it might be interesting to see a list of everything that we're looking to change and then maybe rank them on what's an easier win and a more difficult win and how much work. And then that way we can put points on the board and make sure we're putting points on the board versus, maybe focusing on the hard things right away that we might not get a lot of agreement with. I don't know. I don't want a 15-page report. I agree with that, but maybe we don't need to something in between. So I think you've heard 15 pages and two things, and I'm in between, I guess. It'd just be nice to maybe see difficulty on some of the things, or how difficult you think they are.
And I do love working on the downtown. Y'all know that, because that is our bread and butter. I mean, I know everybody thinks the Hill is. It's not. It's our downtown. And I love it. It's just like Miss Darla leaves the tree lights on for us for a little bit after Christmas. And we've been begging for that. Somebody just leave the trees on. Yes.
afterwards. Yeah, I'm fine with that. So we can go through the ordinance and maybe just do kind of an abbreviated audit where we maybe don't give you 15 pages, we give you 3 or 4 that says here's some what we see as kind of major problem areas, tackling those one at a time.
They definitely, you do have to go through there because what was it, 2 years ago with the whole R2 with the housing where people were grandfathered in and people were, yeah, and that was all from 40 years ago. So I am with you that things change, things move rather quickly sometimes. And then if you're not keeping up on it, then you're falling behind.
Yeah, and there are some kind of, like we noticed today, well, I noticed today in talking to somebody, seen it for a while and I've been able to figure it out, but there's some simple kind of clerical things in there that are wrong. Like there's a table that contains a bunch of references to like, footnote A, B, C, D. But when you look underneath that, the footnotes are actually labeled 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So you don't, the references don't make any sense. So like some of that little stuff we need to clean up too through an amendment. So some of it'll be very simple like that, and then other things are going to be a little more complex.
I have a question that's way off topic. Do we have a meeting scheduled with Solon Township?
It's,
Scheduled?
yeah, yeah, we scheduled that a year ago, March, when we were there.
Yes. In March, we always just say, okay, we'll meet again next March. And I'm sure Miss April can email us and tell us when that is, because I don't remember.
Maybe, one thing I would like to do is before we meet with them is maybe next meeting, the planning commission meeting, like we talk about what we want to talk to them about. Kind of go in with a little bit of a plan. Because like last year, that was my first ever meeting on the planning. I had no idea what I was doing, but we talked about a lot of good stuff at that meeting.
Yeah.
And it's a lot of these things are just communication and getting them to do stuff and us, so
I like that. Okay.
especially with these apartments going in and everything else that's going in, that we have a lot to talk about and we have a lot of things that need to happen. So yeah, we'll add that for the next meeting if we could.
Any other discussions on the master plan at all? Okay, we will go to 10C, which is a proposed truck route ordinance discussion. I didn't see that in the packet.
So I just wanted to bring to your attention, Clay Shargot came to see me a couple weeks ago and said he lives on Maple Street. And when we had the construction going on for the Heart of Cedar Springs restroom and playground, we had basically CS Manufacturing blocked off. No large trucks could come out Maple Street. He said as soon as we took down the construction stuff, semis started coming out Maple Street again. So we don't want semis from CS Manufacturing coming down Maple Street. That's a park, it's a playground. We want kids to play there. That kind of, and we've talked about this a couple times in my 2 years here. So if we created a truck route ordinance, it wouldn't come to planning commission. It would go right to city council. But since we've discussed it here, are you guys in favor of us identifying a truck route, adopting an ordinance, then the police can enforce it?
Yes. I thought, to be honest with you, because that's the old chip factory, I thought that they were still coming out, going to Fifth and going up and out.
Or not?
Nobody lives on Maple right there. That's the library and the bar. If they're coming out Maple, there's no houses right there.
Houses on Second Street, but they're coming out. He's just saying that shouldn't allow semis to come out there. They need to use Fifth Street. Fifth Street is built for semis. Maple Street is not.
Concerned me for a second because I thought they were going down Second, and I was like, "Oh no, what? I don't need Second tore up." Right. Because already Fifth Street, I mean, it got fixed a couple of years ago and it's probably gonna have to get fixed again because it is a truck route.
We just redid Fifth Street this past summer.
The southern.
Yes.
Right, the northern part got fixed years ago.
Okay. Oh, yeah, yeah.
And
Okay.
so, from Maine to Cherry. But like every 5 years, that road's got to have attention because it's a truck route. And so, yeah, that concerned me for a minute because I was like, we're not tearing up another road. So, yeah, that's fine.
So the trucks are coming down. What road do we want to make it not accessible to trucks?
Where we just built the new restrooms.
Yeah, Maple Street.
Okay, so at the very west end of Maple is where the logging company was.
Yeah.
But you'd had to live here for a long time to know that.
So they need to go down Cherry Street, is what we're saying, we're proposing?
Yes.
To exit on the west side of their property to Cherry to Fifth and then out of the city from there, either to Pine or to Muskegon.
To Fifth. Okay.
They cannot make a road to Fifth Street from the back of that property. That is all swamp.
So like the truck route ordinance would basically say these are the designated routes for certain types of vehicles. Just list off a segment, you know, Fifth Street from this to this.
It's fine.
Outside of that would not be permitted unless you're like, you know, a contractor going to somebody's house, you know, like a local delivery, obviously would be exempt, but.
Oh, you put the signs like 10 tons and over, not allowed. And that's fine because that allows straight trucks, that allows bread vans, that allows anything like that. But you just put it like, you know, the signs like 10 tons and over not permitted, and that's fine. Anything under that, it's fine.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's just fine.
I like that.
I thought we had one. Oopsie. Okay. And you said that'll go just to
That would be a city council ordinance. Mm-hmm.
okay.
Would you like to see a copy of it or?
I don't think so. I don't think it's necessary. If we
I
can't
think
even
it-
vote on it, I don't see why we would need to.
I really do like the fact that I'm assuming it was you that took the initiative and is going to promote it to city council. So I appreciate that somebody brought it up to you and you're taking the initiative. I thank you for that.
I see, you know, kids injured while playing at the Heart of Cedar Springs. I don't want Maple Street ruined because that was just repaved.
Or second.
Yeah, yeah. Our local street roads are not designed for traffic.
This Main and Fifth. Okay, oh geez. All right, open discussion 2026 calendar. Anything, Miss April? Just a notification that we have it, okay? And then of course you have your 2025 attendance reports on your, at the end. And that just lets you know, how many times you missed, excuse, stuff like that. And I'm sorry, Miss Darla, how many is it like 2 that you missed that are non-excused or something? I'm just doing this for the,
If you can't attend the meeting, just let us know ahead of time. You'll be excused. You'll be fine. If you,
explain this to him.
Yes.
Mm.
Make sure.
Yeah.
The new guy.
Yeah, no excuses now.
Make sure we have
Quorum.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One of us wasn't going to be here tonight. We couldn't even have this meeting, so And then he would have had to wait a whole nother month for a public hearing and yeah, it's a roller coaster effect.
Okay, staff comments, our city manager.
So I just have a couple things to share. If you've driven by Muskegon Street lately, you'll see City Hall. We actually today started having some new windows, original windows being put in. So drive by and back, no more boards on the windows. We're back to full windows.
You said original. I thought you meant they were putting back that. What
No,
was
no, no, no. But we had a progress meeting last Tuesday. Things are still on track. They're gonna stay on track for a April move date. Yep, first week of April.
Okay.
Contractors there every day is just amazing. The parking lot is full of many different contractors doing drywall, insulation, mechanical, electrical, plumbing, you name it. They're all there working at the same time. So I give a lot of credit to our Cam Denny, our on-site supervisor, keeping all these people straight and yeah, so that's going very well. Might see a few changes on Main Street in the upcoming future. The bar across the road here sold to a lady lives somewhere down by Grand Rapids. She's working with structural engineers right now to determine, you know, is it fixable? Is it not fixable? She'll make that decision here shortly and then proceed accordingly. Proposed Mexican restaurant type business. And then, just recently another building further down, previously owned by Bob Ringler, just recently sold, and that will be tore down.
Guys,
Yeah, so that's another change.
you about, I wanted to know if you knew any more tea on that, like how they were proposing, are they going to put apartments on top? Are they going to just?
Proposal I heard. Yep, commercial on the main level, apartments upstairs.
Was going down, but because it was bad.
The 4 lots on Maple Street that have been for sale, I think since I came here, towards the end, Humanities purchased them. Met with Habitat for Humanity and you and I met with them a year or so ago.
That long,
Oh.
like last summer or something.
Yeah, quite a while. So I'm waiting for them to reach out. I hope it's the same people we already talked to, so they already know, you know, kind of what's in front of them. They have to extend water, sewer, and the road. Maybe some rezoning might need to take place.
It's like the ones that do we think it's going to be like the ones on Pine? Was that Habitat for Humanity?
Those are ICF homes.
CC.
Yeah.
All right. I thought those were Habitat too. Okay. This is great. I am so excited. All right.
But I mean, they gave us a proposal when we met with them, but I don't know if that's still what they're planning or, so I'm hoping they'll reach out to us shortly. And then just one more zoning thing, Family Farm and Home submitted a zoning application and we've approved it. They're gonna add a propane filling station on the what, west end of their building.
I don't have to drive to Rockford no more. Yes.
TSC's got one. And their parking lot. Yeah, I fill up all the time there. The gas station on the corner's got one too.
But they never have enough people to work it. Cause there'll always be one person behind the counter. If there's one person, they can't leave, so I don't go there. All right, that's awesome. Thank you for the updates. We love to hear things moving forward. Now, if you can get the building next to Copies Plus sold, that would be amazing. Has that been 2 years now? The old tax office?
Okay.
It's been forever.
moved her office there.
Did
Oh.
Bryn move in?
She had it up for sale.
Yeah.
No, Bryn bought it.
This time I saw it was up for sale.
Bryn's
but-
office was off of Maple.
He leased that out to somebody. I don't remember.
Okay. I was looking for Bryn the other night, didn't find her, so that's how much I know.
Has there been any complaints with the Ash Street project? With Dean's, okay. I haven't been down there, so
Was that the new?
development,
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
All right.
Set to go, so I don't know if there's for sale signs up yet or not, but
Did they already get it all done? All their, well, they are go-getters, so yeah.
Drive down there.
Cool.
All right. Do we have comments from our city clerk? Planning commission members. Any comments? No.
Comment for the next meeting. I will be the first to admit that the 425 agreement, I do not fully understand. It is hard for me. And so maybe if we can just get a little bit of a rundown, just an overview of that in the next meeting, so we're prepared for the March meeting. That would be fantastic.
Okay, it's in lawyer speak. We know.
Make it as easy as you can for us.
Report of the city council.
Uh,
Yeah, that's you.
yeah.
Yeah.
We're meeting Thursday. And the sign ordinance got revised from the last meeting, I think, right?
second reading Thursday night, so it'll after Thursday night.
Happened at that meeting, so. That we, for Perry's Place.
Oh. Yeah, okay. I forgot about, I was like, what do you mean sign ordinance? We did that. So confused.
I can't remember anything, so, yeah.
Report of the planning consultant.
Have nothing further.
Right. If there is nothing else, we will adjourn at 7:52 PM.